on, well, understanding where you stand financially right now and building those key habits.
Okay, perfect. So let's dive right in.
Mm.
Budgeting, maybe not the most exciting topic ever.
Huh, maybe not. But honestly, it's ground zero. You just have to know where your money's actually going. It's like getting the map before you start the journey.
Good analogy. And a simple way to start, maybe, is that 50-30-20 rule. People talk about that a lot.
Yeah, it's a really decent framework. So, roughly 50% of your take home pay goes to your needs: rent, mortgage, food, utilities, the absolute must haves.
Right, the essentials.
And then about 30% is for wants, eating out, hobbies, entertainment, the fun stuff that makes life enjoyable.
I'd have some fun.
Definitely. And then the last 20% is key that goes towards savings and paying down debt, building your future, basically.
And part of that savings piece, crucially, is the emergency fund.
Oh, absolutely critical. You need that safety net. The usual advice is aiming for 3 to 6 months worth of essential living expenses, just tucked away somewhere safe and accessible.
For those curveballs life throws at us,
Mhm.
like losing a job or a big medical bill.
Exactly. It stops a setback from becoming a total disaster.
Okay, so budgeting, emergency fund. Let's talk debt. That's a big one for a lot of people. It can feel, well, heavy.
It really can. The most important thing here is understanding interest rates. High interest debt, like typically credit cards, can really hold you back. Tackling that first is usually the smartest move financially.
Makes sense. You mentioned different approaches,
Yeah.
like snowball and avalanche.
Right. So the debt snowball method. That's where you pay off the smallest debts first, regardless of the interest rate. Psychologically, it feels good. You get quick wins.
Ah, okay. Motivation.
Exactly. Then there's the debt avalanche. With that, you focus purely on the highest interest rate debt first. Mathematically, you'll save more money on interest in the long run.
So one's about psychology, the other's about pure math.
Pretty much. Honestly, the best method is whichever one you'll actually stick with consistently. That's what matters most.
Good point. Okay, so once debt is under control or being managed, people can start thinking more about building wealth, savings, and investing.
Yes, and this is where things get, well, potentially exciting. The magic ingredient here is compound interest.
The eighth wonder of the world, supposedly.
Ah. Well, it's pretty powerful. It's just earning returns not only on your initial investment, but also on the returns that investment has already generated. It snowballs over time, but in a good way this time.
And time is really the key factor there.
Huge factor. The longer your money has to grow, the more significant that compounding effect becomes. That's why starting early, even with small amounts, can make such a big difference down the line.
And to manage the bumps along the way, diversification, spreading things out.
Absolutely essential. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say. Spreading your investments across different asset types like stocks, bonds, maybe real estate, or other things helps manage risk. If one area does poorly, others might do well.
So what are some common ways people actually do this investing, especially for big goals like retirement?
Well, retirement accounts are a big one. Things like 401ks, often offered by employers, sometimes with a match.
Free money.
Basically, yeah. Definitely take advantage of that if you can. And then IRAs, individual retirement arrangements, which you set up yourself. Both Roth and traditional versions have tax advantages.
Okay. And inside those accounts, what might people invest in?
A very popular and often sensible option for many, especially starting out, are index funds. They're usually low cost, and they hold investments that track a whole market index like the S&P 500, so you get instant diversification.
Instead of picking individual stocks.
Exactly. Picking individual stocks has the potential for higher returns, but it also comes with much higher risk and requires more research. Bonds, on the other hand, are generally considered safer, more stable, but typically offer lower returns. It's about balancing risk and reward based on your goals and timeline.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, investing is about growth, but what about protection? Insurance comes into play here, doesn't it?
Hugely important. Insurance is all about managing risk and protecting yourself from major financial shocks. Health insurance is probably the most obvious one, protecting against potentially crippling medical costs.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Then there's life insurance, which is really about providing financial security for your dependents if something were to happen to you. And property insurance protecting your home, your car, your valuable assets.
It's all part of that solid foundation. Another piece of that foundation must be credit, right? Your credit score.
Definitely. Your credit score is like your financial report card. It affects your ability to borrow money and the interest rates you'll pay.
So what actually goes into that score?
Several things, but the big ones are payment history. Paying your bills on time is crucial. Credit utilization, that's how much of your available credit you're actually using. Lower is generally better. And the length of your credit history, having responsibly managed credit for a longer time, helps.
So using credit cards isn't bad as long as you're responsible, like paying the balance in full each month.
Exactly. Responsible use is key. And it's smart to check your credit report regularly. You can get free copies annually just to make sure everything's accurate. Errors can happen.
Good tip. Okay, we've covered a lot. Budgeting, debt, saving, investing, insurance, credit. How does this all tie together? Goals,
Yes. Having clear financial goals is what gives all this purpose. It helps you prioritize. You can think of them in terms of time
like
frames.
short-term, medium, long-term.
Uh-huh. Short term might be building that emergency fund, maybe paying off a specific debt. Medium term could be saving for a down payment on a house or for education.
And long-term is the big picture stuff.
Right. Usually retirement planning, achieving financial independence, maybe leaving a legacy. Knowing what you're aiming for really helps you make consistent, good decisions along the way.
And this isn't something you just set up once and forget.
Oh, definitely not. Personal finance is dynamic because life is dynamic. Continuous learning is really important. Read books, follow reliable sources online, maybe even consider talking to a qualified financial advisor for personalized guidance.
And check in on your plan regularly.
Absolutely. At least once a year, maybe more, if something significant changes in your life, like a new job, getting married, having kids, you need to review and adjust your plan.
So bringing it all together then, it sounds like the key is understanding these fundamentals, but also realizing it's very personal.
That's the core message, really. What works for one person might not be right for another. Your goals, your income, your risk tolerance, it's all unique. Start with these basics, keep learning, be flexible.
It's about taking control, step by step.
Precisely. Which leads us to a final thought for everyone listening. Considering all these fundamentals we've just touched on, what's maybe one small, manageable step you can take today, right now, to strengthen your own financial foundation?